All right, it's 8 o'clock. Can you guys hear me in Discord there? Yeah, it looks like I can see that. Just let me know in the chat. I know YouTube's a little behind, so it'll take them a minute, I think, to see. I don't know why there's so much lag on the YouTube streaming, but all right. Well, thanks everyone for being here to join. So I'm Trevor, the co-founder and our technical lead at Apollo Automation, and so we're a small startup. We're building hardware for home automation. We're based in Lexington, Kentucky, and everything is assembled and tested and shipped from our workshop here. I normally have my co-host on this one. Let me switch to, there it is live. Justin, can you still not hear? Looks like Justin's on the YouTube. One second. All right, I'm not sure if it's coming through on YouTube or not, but yeah, not sure what the deal is there. Brandon, can you jump to the YouTube stream and see if it's got audio for you or if it's just Justin? Okay. All right. So it looks like we're good on both YouTube and Discord. Cool. Okay. Sorry for that delay there. So yeah, normally we've got Justin here with me, but he's not able to join today. So I'm going to try to run both, keep track of the streams and the chat and everything, and see how this goes. All right. So first on the agenda is we've had Temp 1, which is our temperature probe. That has been in beta testing for the last month almost. And so what this is it's a battery powered device that has a 1 meter temperature probe. We might be going down to 0.75 meters, but it's got a long temperature probe that is a flat cable design, which means you can put this on the outside of your fridge. It's got a magnetic mount, which I was redesigning today based on some feedback. And so you could clip this to the outside of your fridge or your freezer, and then put the temperature probe inside of the fridge, the freezer. The probe is also waterproof. You could put it into a fish tank, a pool, a hot tub. I think we have a beta user who has it in their dishwasher. So lots of uses there for the temperature probe. And so the main use case for that is monitoring your fridge or freezer while you're either out of town or away. So you can set up alerts in Home Assistant for, if the temperature gets above or below a certain value, to alert you, to set off an alarm on the device. It has a buzzer. So a whole bunch of functionality packed into it. Battery powered, and I believe we're building a non-battery version as well, which will be quite a bit smaller. That was a request since the battery size is quite large on them. So really interesting use cases there. We've had great responses from the beta testing. One interesting use case that came up was to monitor if we could monitor like food temperature with a high temperature probe. So if you've ever seen the meat thermometer type of probe, being able to attach that to this as well. I'm trying to source that type of probe right now, where we can essentially it'll go up. It's an extremely high temperatures. It's a stainless steel probe with a metal cable. So working on getting that source and seeing how we can implement that into Temp 1, because that would be pretty cool to monitor your food temperature in an oven or a grill or whatever like that is a really cool use case. So and I'm not sure, I forget who the beta tester was in our group for that, but thanks for that suggestion. That's awesome. All right, it was code in progress, it sounds like. So yeah, one change from the last stream that we did on it, we were going to include a battery and an onboard charger. We've moved away from that on Temp 1 and the plant sensor that we'll get to, for a handful of reasons. One, the shipping complexity. Through the shipping providers that we have, we could only ship 2 sensors per package, and then internationally was pretty difficult there. Regulations, the liability of charging the battery on device. So we decided for the time being right now, it won't have an onboard charger, and it won't come with a battery, but we're reducing the price down that it'll cover you buying a battery and charger on your own. So I think that works out all right for us on our first battery sensors. Yeah, let's think about anything else on Temp 1. If there's any questions on Temp 1, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything in real time as we go through here. Oh, hey Jerry, good to see you on here. Hope you and your family are doing well. So yeah, Brandon asked about how long does it sleep for. So that's a cool thing that we were able to implement, was configurable sleeps on it. So you can control how long it sleeps and then how long it wakes up for when it does get that. Both of those are controllable. By default, it's sleeping for, I think it's set for 8 hours and then waking up, but that could be set to whatever you would want. All right. All right. If there's no other questions on Temp 1, we'll move through to the Plant 1. So Plant 1 is also currently in beta testing. Plant 1 is a battery powered, and we'll have a non-battery option as well. Plant monitor. And so what we've got on here is a capacitive soil moisture probe. Big benefit of capacitive is it's not going to corrode. Very cheap soil moisture monitors will be the resistive. They've got 2, sometimes 3 prongs, but more frequently 2. And those, if you look up any reviews out there, they will corrode in no time because of how they operate. With capacitive, they have much less corrosion, much longer lifespan, and on ours as well, there's a coating. There's a coating on the PCB that allows it to withstand being in your soil for much longer. It's quite chunky because of the huge battery that is on it. It's an 18650 battery. Again, we're not going to include the battery or a charger for it right now. It's going to let you source it on your own. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat. It's usually have Justin here to help me out. I'm trying to keep up on chat. So, looks like Rob, still possible to participate in the Plant 1 beta. Not right now. We've got a good group that's got them out there. It's pretty finalized as in terms of the beta testing. One big thing is, I know you're saying it's a code in progress, it's a big boy. It is. We wanted a huge battery in it. I believe this is the case color that we're going to go with. It's kind of like a dark green, but we have a poll in our Discord that we're happy to hear input on it. There will also be a non-battery version, which is much, much smaller. It's about the size of the MSR2. I don't have one up here with me, but it's very, very tiny. The stake is very strong. Somebody was just talking about this in Discord. I've had no problems with this stake. It's very sturdy. Haven't been able to break it pushing it into a plant at all. Yeah. What else about plant? Yeah, so it's going to monitor the soil moisture. It monitors air temperature, humidity. It's got a optional probe on it to measure the soil temperature, which was surprising to me. Monitoring my plant, it is always a few degrees cooler, which I would have thought I would have equalized being in a home, but really interesting there for that. It's a long temperature probe, so you can put it down into the soil. It's waterproof. Let's see. Will the non-battery version also have the soil moisture probe? Yeah, it'll be the same exact functionality. We'll just, it'll be very, very tiny and, not have the battery component on it. So yes. Question from Pseudo Random about calibrating. You won't need to calibrate it. We've calibrated them. I've been trying to figure out if we want to expose or if we can expose the calibration entities. Essentially, calibrating it for the most part is you put it into a cup of water. You put the probe in a cup of water and you measure what that looks like. And then you put the probe, you dry it off and see what a dry value is. And that's how you map the 100% to 0% moisture levels on them. So we've calibrated that on our own. It's, within a few percent of each other. There will be some variance, but yeah, same sleep cycle for the battery option. It'll sleep for 8 hours, wake up, report its info out to Home Assistant, and then go back to sleep. The non-battery version, you could run it constantly and get as much updating as you'd like. Let's think. It also has a UV and a lux sensor on it, if I didn't say that. All right. So Brandon asked, any idea of expected life on it? Been doing some stress testing on it. From what I'm reading on everybody else's sensors out there, we're much longer than the sensors. You see a lot of these available. These allow you to plug into another ESP device. These have great ratings and last a long time, and they are not coated. So with ours being coated, we should be well above those. And I've got one right now in a very high salt water or high salt content water for the last few months, and trying to get it to go to start corroding it, but I've had no problems with that at all right now. Rob, the specific case material, this is a PETG green color. I want to think it's like an overture, I believe, but we can always post our 3D files are always available, like everything. 3D files in code are open source. So if you would like to print it in a different color, you're more than welcome. All right. Oh yeah. So this is the new case design as well. That was one thing that came out of our beta testing, was the previous case had too many holes in it, which made people afraid about pouring water into their plant, getting water on it. So beta testers, if there's anybody in here, you guys can see the top is a solid, the front is a solid, the sides have very tiny openings for the buttons and USB and things like that. But we actually might be able to design some little plugs to put in there. If you just 3D printed a little plug that would cover up your USB port that you don't need and cover up your buttons that you don't need either. That'd be a way to, TPU plugs. That'd be a pretty good way to snug it up. I really I think it was either Code in Progress or First of Nine, the new case latching system that they sent over. I've implemented that. It's very nice. It's almost too snug. It's hard to get off, so I have to maybe increase the size just slightly. All right. Yeah, Brandon, yes, I'll get it uploaded. I printed the first one today, and need to make it a little bit less tight, the lid. Okay, so pseudo-random. You mentioned battery versus non-battery for updating frequency. Are these two different models we choose from? Yeah. It'll be very obvious on our site, kind of like how you can choose between the MSR with CO2 or without CO2. And the size will be very drastically different. Like the entire top portion of this is battery, and it shrinks down to about, it's not much wider than the actual stake, the non-battery version. So very, very tiny. I'm finalizing that PCB right now and looking to get that made here soon. All right. All right, Rob, I'm rather new to your products and am impressed by your whole philosophy. Support has been awesome. Yeah, thanks. We try to be very open and transparent. These monthly live streams are a part of that. We're always on Discord and available, and we don't try to hide our support threads or problems that people are having or anything like that. We try to, we've been longtime members of Home Assistant community and longtime users. And so we just wanted to run the company like we would want to be, treated. All right. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of the beta testers, they were putting like their shower caps or other names, plastic over top of the plant sensor to put it outside. I'm interested to see how long that'll last. It's really for indoor currently. We don't have a coating on the top portion of the PCB to make that waterproof. We could always make a waterproof version. We'd probably drop the light sensor and drop the mezzanine port on it so that we could coat that whole top. So yeah, I'm interested to see how those outdoor sensors live up. All right. So if there's nothing else on plant, I'll move to what was pretty fun and exciting today. So with the plant sensor, one of the first things that came up, and I believe it was my mom on one of our streams, was saying, if you tell me that my plant needs to be watered, can you give me something that'll just water it for me? And so that was a really cool idea. I looked up on the internet to see what was out there for plant waterers. There's a lot of really expensive ones, so we were trying to come in on a cheaper option. And so what we decided to come up with is, I don't know if this is going to show up very much. It looks a little janky because that's not designed completely yet. But it's a 1 liter plastic bottle. The bottom of this is a water level sensor that goes on it. It's a non-contact water level sensor, so it sits on the outside. I've just got the cable going up right now. And then there'll be a small peristaltic pump, which means that it doesn't touch, it doesn't get submerged. The pump doesn't get submerged. It's really interesting. It squeezes the tubing to make, to pull pressure through it. And so it'll be similar to this. This is probably the actual bottle we'll go with. It'll have a little PCB at the top and a USB port in the pump. So what that'll do is it'll allow you to say, okay, when my plant 1 tells me that, it's at 0% moisture in the soil, let's turn on the pump for, 20 seconds. And it will pump a little bit of water into your plant and keep it hydrated. So we haven't gotten this out in testing yet. I don't even have a PCB. It's all currently being run by the Apollo dev board. A plug for our Apollo dev board there. So it's being run by that currently. and I'm working on the PCB design to get that updated for to get out to beta testers. So very excited about the plant water. We have a thread in product development. I know somebody was talking earlier about liking our transparency. A lot of our product development is very transparent. We try to get the community, you guys, involved as early in the process as possible, because just because we think it's a good idea or we think the design is complete, you guys can think of way more things than we can with multiple people thinking on it. So I'll usually we can plug the links in here, but I can after. Oh yeah, Brandon got it. So it's called Plant Hydrator. Help me with the name. Trying to come up with a better name for it. Right now I think we've got it as like PLT WTR1. Code in progress. The aquarium top-offs. I used to have an aquarium, and water top-off was very, very expensive in them. We should be able to beat everyone that you just linked there in terms of price. You'd have to supply your own source, but just because this is in a 1 liter bottle doesn't mean that it can't work in a 5-gallon bucket. So I really like the addition of the ultrasonic sensor, because that's going to tell you now when is my bottle out of water. And so I think if we follow the logic of my mom, if we tell her that the bottle is out of water, then she needs to have another bottle that then fills this bottle so that it is all automated. So very excited to get that out into testing. And we're happy to hear any thoughts. Please, we really enjoy the feedback. So, all right. Moving on to parking sensor. So parking sensor has been in development. I think I just got a notification today that we printed the first case for it 1 year ago. So parking sensor, it's a sensor you put on the front of your garage wall. You can save your car's location, and then the next time you pull into your garage, it'll show you from green to yellow to red to stop where you want to be parked. Prevents you from hitting the wall, hitting a fridge, all of that type of stuff. We've got a product page on it on our website if you want to subscribe to the newsletter. And the only reason there's not much progress on it is temperature and plant were ready first. Surprisingly, I thought it would have been the other way, but they were ready first in terms of like development almost being wrapped up. And we only have so much attention to devote, so we're fully devoting it to plant and temperature and plant water, and then we'll circle back to the parking sensor right after that. So that's the update on PA1 right now. All right, so moving out of product development announcements, Australia shipping. So this has been a long time in the making. Like I said initially, we ship everything from here in Kentucky, which means international shipping is a huge hurdle for us. And we've got a few partners. We've got Open Circuit over in the EU that'll help get things much, much quicker to people. And then now we have, through Smart Home Australia, who's a YouTuber, they are going to also be shipping our products from Australia to Australians. So what that means for you guys is before in Australia, the shipping cost was pretty high. And that would then take from us anywhere from 15 to 30 days to go from us to Australia. It'd have to go through customs, which would sometimes get it caught up, causing it to take even longer. And then it would finally get to you. So we know it was a problematic point for people. We wish we could have fixed it sooner. We wish we could fix more in Europe sooner, but just due to our size, it's pretty difficult. So very, very excited for Smart Home Australia. We're very thankful to be working with them and to better serving the home automation community over in Australia. So like I said before, it was 15 to 30 days before we would even get to customs. I think now we're in like the 3 to 5 day shipping throughout all of Australia. So very, very excited to have that going. And the shipping is cheaper as well. So yeah. All right. So let me catch back up on chat. So yeah, code in progress about, uh, it's difficult to get people because of the shipping. It makes it so much easier. Yeah, yeah. We're trying to bolster Europe as well. Uh, there, so with Smart Home Australia, we are sending them product, and then when it gets sold, there's a little bit of a fee that we pay there. With in the EU, it's almost they're a distributor, so they pre-purchase from us however much they want to put onto their store. The negative there is we can't control the stock. Uh, so right now, I think they're out of stock on all of our products, and we're just waiting on them to close an order with us. But we're continuing to try to work while maintaining. We want to maintain assembly, and really, we want to maintain assembly here in Kentucky, or at least under our own roof, versus going the route that many suggest, which is producing overseas and things like that, which we'd like to avoid. So, yeah, we're always working on this topic and appreciate hearing feedback. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I have two community contributions that I wanted to call out that were really, really cool. First is ERKR. I think I don't know how you would say it, but they did an incredible community contribution for us about the mix 4514 on the Air One. And so what they were able to find out is that the mix sensor, which is a DF robot, which is another company's sensor that plugs into our sensor to enhance the Air One, they found a way to make the code much better on the DF robot sensor, enabling much lower ppm measurements for some of the gases that are out there. Really, really cool. Really cool addition there. And I think it's finally merged, or not, I shouldn't say finally, sorry. It is now merged into ESP Home and should be in like the next release or so. I've got to check on that, but very, very excited to have that and really appreciate it. Really appreciate that. Brandon, I'm not sure what you mean about mics, but the second one that I had was Tim and Larry. They were able to take our STL files, and maybe we might have given the Fusion files, and made a enhancement to the Air One case. So this is their case mod. And so what it does is it exposes the SIN55's intake and output a lot better, and goes to a no mesh design and takes it down to one screw. And so we're actually we're very appreciative of this mod for a few reasons. One, it's awesome to see what happens to the products. And secondly, it's pretty cool because it reduces the mesh and it reduces the screw count, which are some of the largest labor portions of us building the Air One. Again, we build all these products. Justin builds them all. But, an improvement like that is helping our manufacturing process is really, really cool to see. So I really appreciate, Tim and Larry for making this design. And I think we're going to maybe do some modifications and try to implement some of this on ours. I really like it. Really like it. All right. Let's see. So Code in Progress is Air 2 coming out. I don't think it'll be the Air 2. We were reserving that for maybe a bigger change. I've been keeping my eye on Sensirion. They make the SIN55, which is the air sensor inside of the Air 1. They have a SIN 60 that was supposed to come out mid this year. It's now saying it's going to come out mid next year. And so just keep an eye on that. That might be something that we would swap for an Air 2. I think, yeah, I don't see anything else currently in the scope for AR2, but no plans for that yet. All right, and then thirdly, I was just going to call some most embarrassing thing probably this week was my first Home Assistant contribution. Thanks to Brandon and Jesse for setting that up, and it's essentially adding the millimeters per second as a unit of speed to Home Assistant. And the reason that's important is the millimeter wave sensors use it, so they throw a little warning about that. And Home Assistant's a little confusing to contribute to. There's 3 different repositories: the actual code, the developer docs, and then the public-facing documentation. And I don't know what I did, but on the public-facing documentation on my pull request, it tagged 40 people in Home Assistant to come and notify them to review this. Jesse pointed it out to me, and we were able to delete the pull request, but I think I emailed 40 people telling them to come review my one-line pull request, which they probably didn't appreciate. So code in progress. Did you say you heard about the Home Assistant one? Whoops. Oh. Yeah, so sorry about that. I gotta update it, but yeah, just letting you guys know my one little 2-line change in Home Assistant. All right. Let's see here. All right, what we got next is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to share this. Let me see. We've got our community giveaway. So this was a idea that some people had come up with, and so what it was is showing us in Discord on our channel what you do with your MSR2 or unique things that you've got, and we're doing a giveaway for that we're picking here on the stream. So it's 2 winners. We've got one that's random and then one that was I think the most unique. And I don't know, I know I can share it in Discord. I'm just trying to figure out how I could share this. All right, I can just share it in Discord. 1 second. Streaming, change windows. All right, so we put all the names into here. Yeah, drum roll, please. We put all the names of the contributors. If I missed somebody, I don't think I missed them, but let me know. And so this is going to be for the random. You can spin this wheel, and whoever it lands on there, just let us know, and then you can get a MTR MSR2. So let's see if it spins. There we go. Spin, spin, spin. Oh, they actually just posted. They might be on. Oh yeah, they're on the stream. Mobile GDGT. Nice. You're the random winner. So nice job. Just reach out to one of us, and we will get you. It's either an MSR2 or MTR, whatever you'd like. We could probably send you a plant sensor or temperature probe as well. So I don't think that was in the initial offering, but happy to give those away as well. So let me switch again back to. All right, and we got one for the most unique, and I think the most unique, we were talking about it a little bit earlier today, is Gerardo, Gerardo. Okay, so they made a really interesting Chat GPT powered buzzer on the MSR2. So the MSR2, the MTR, temperature sensor, I think the plant sensor might have one, all have these little piezo buzzers. And so they don't sound like a normal speaker. You can't play like a real song. But if some people, actually it made me feel old for a second, because some people probably don't remember because they weren't born yet. The old ringtones on phones used to just be little like buzzer tunes. And so you can play those onto your MSR2 or whatever for either an alarm or a little song. We've had a Christmas video where we posted some Christmas songs being played. Well, Gerardo, I think I'm saying that name right, used ChatGPT that was connected to Home Assistant to tell his Home Assistant to play a random song on the buzzer, and it picked a song, I think the intro to Indiana Jones, and plays it to the MSR2. So there is a video and a post and a write-up on how to do it in our showcase. I think that's like super, super, super cool. So reach out to us. I don't know if you're on the stream. I lost visual in the stream, but here we go. Oh, hey, he's in here too. Oh yeah, there he is. All right. Yeah, so reach out. MSR2, MTR, plant, or temp we can send out to you. Plant and temp might take a little bit longer because we don't have those in stock yet. But yeah, we'll get you down. Development board we've got as well. So happy to hook you up with your pick of a sensor. So thank you guys very much for the showcase and for contributing to see that. Thank you very much to the community contributions. And yeah, that's all the agenda I've got. Justin, Braden, if there's anything I've missed, or if there's any more questions that I've missed, I'm happy to answer those as well. Got quite a few people type in, so I'll give you guys just a second here. Okay, so good question, Brandon. So he said, can we circle back and talk about the next steps for plant and temperature? Okay, so next steps are I'm finalizing the non-battery powered versions, getting those. There's nothing crazy there. It's the same sensor, it just is half the size and doesn't have the battery connector. So finalizing this. This will probably take another week or so. I'm working on the case designs right now, getting those finalized. I didn't know if I showed it off too much, but on the Temp 1, I switched to the magnet holder. We had a good idea, a good recommendation. The magnet used to be inside of the case on every one of them and it was glued. That it'd be nice if if the magnet was just an add-on so that you can save $1 for the people who don't want the magnet, or maybe you want to put them near PCs or servers where you don't want the magnet. And it also was yanking the battery out of the sensor when you would plug it in because the magnet was so strong. So I came up with a new design today. I've got to thicken it a little bit, but it's a little ring that connects and clicks onto the Temp 1, and then that will be the battery accessory. So really, really appreciate the feedback. I know it was frustrating for people. Everybody got their sensors and the battery was yanked out of it, and then it was hard to get the sensor back in without it re-yanking the battery out. So I appreciate that feedback. I've had no problems with it yanking the battery out being up here on top. It's a real simple, clean design. The accessory is not going to be but a couple of dollars. The magnet's pretty cheap, and it'll allow you to have it or not have it. So just finalizing the connections there. So yeah, in terms of that, we will be getting the next versions of that PCB with non-battery, and then be ready to launch pretty soon. Got to finalize the case, and then yeah. I mean, feedback on it has all been really well. No major complaints at all. Just lots of good ideas for additions. The only thing on temp that I'm trying to figure out is about the metal grill probe. So I'm waiting to get a sample of one of those metal probes in to see if what I need to do to the circuitry to allow both our probe and this new metal probe. I assume it's going to be a switch that you have to flip on the device, just based on reading how the two sensors function, that you would have to choose which one. But I think that that's not a big deal, and Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, those are the next steps. We'll just continue to take in feedback, continue to hear from the community, and hopefully within this month, we will be able to get these sensors out and available for sale. They're on our website. If anybody watching wants to go to our website, the sensors are on there. You can sign up for the newsletter announcement when they do get released. They'll also be released in Discord if you're a member in Discord. So yeah, great question there, Brandon. That was a good way to talk about it. Yeah, code in progress, non-battery temp one. Yes. Yeah. I think it's, yeah, I think that that's still a good place where we could use USB power. Like if you have places to hardwire devices for power, it's almost always better than just choosing battery for whatever. It'll also be a couple bucks. Well, since we're not including the battery, the cost difference isn't really that different. But it'll just be size, much, much tinier. Let's see. Yeah, code in progress. Yeah, about not having to spend $100 on a grilled meat sensor. Yeah, it would be nice to be able to do both. So I think we can. Like I said, I got a sample coming and just need to check it out. Justin, so that's for the other sensor that we haven't talked to anybody about yet on the temperature. It probably won't work for this one, but we had a industrial client or industrial factory that reached out to us. We met them through Land War, which was the gaming event that we just went to. That needed some specific temperature and humidity monitoring for their raw materials so that they did not degrade. And so we made a temperature sensor that had a special dust-proof probe on it that could go into the factory. And not sure if it can go onto temp 1. I'll have to double check. It would be a third position on the switch, which isn't the end of the world, but it would be interesting. But then we also probably will just release that sensor. It's would be the first PoE powered device. It's quite large. That's still like multiple months away from even being done in development, and then we have to go through testing. So yeah, that one's pretty far off. Yeah, parking beta test is, I mean, truthfully, the hardware is good enough to go. It's figuring out the software side right now. It's figuring out if the problem was the sleeping components, was when it falls asleep and then waking up without too many false detections, and then waking up and deciding what to do right away with the distances. So hardware-wise, it's ready to go out to beta testers. Software-wise, I didn't want to ship it half-baked, and right now we've got our hands full. It's really just Justin and I running the development side, and then we got Brandon, who's a huge help, Smart Home Sellout, huge help for the community and support side. Code in progress, yeah. Temp would be PoE for server racks, yeah, with a probe that could go into your server if you wanted to through your server case, or you could, you could put it on the outside just to monitor air temperature. I was hesitating there for a second because I was thinking about, I've got a temperature sensor that goes into an oven for reflowing circuit boards, and being able to like tape that like inside of your server case would be pretty nice. A little probe. But yeah, that would be really neat. It needs to take 12 volt Molex in and spit it out 12 volts for fans. Oh yeah. So being able to use the Temp 1 Pro, I think is what we're calling it. I hate using pros and ultras and maxes in names, but that would be a pretty cool way. Yeah. All right. Any other questions in chat? Sorry, this one's a little bit more of a ramble of our live stream without Justin here to help keep me on the rails and help with the agenda in chat. It's a little difficult. Code in progress is, yeah, you guys are going to have sensors for every occasion. We are actually coming up this week. I think it's this week, right? Next week. Next week, I think the 11th is the first day we started selling sensors. It was our first sensor sold. We are very appreciative of the community. We thought we were just going to sell like 100 of them. We didn't even start off by getting into this to sell them. We built it for ourselves, the MSR1. We thought we would just sell 100 of them and then be done. Turned into a whole business, that now employs people, and we want to keep growing. We want to make better and better sensors. We want to fill in the gaps where where maybe others won't or can't. We're pretty agile and small and fast moving. And we're trying to do everything as good as we can in terms of support for the community, for building our products in a responsible way, as in assembling here in Kentucky with good pay and things like that. And that's our plan. So we'll keep growing and keep building sensors and continue on from here. So all right. Let's see what else. Yeah, well, thank you guys very much. There's some very nice comments in chat about us. Thank you very much. We really enjoy working with everybody in the community. We like the feedback. It's a huge amount of work, but we're very glad to be doing this and very glad that we can be transparent and open and everything with the community like we can. So we don't plan on stopping that. We'll be doing these live streams again. We usually do them every Monday, the first Monday of every month. We skipped yesterday because of Labor Day in the US, but in a month we'll be back. The sensors will probably be released by then. We'll probably have Plant 1 and Temp 1 out. We don't ever want to rush them, so I don't try to give exact dates, because if it's not ready, it's not ready. And yeah, we'll be getting into parking beta testing. We'll be getting into plant water beta testing. We'll be, one last thing before I go. Very soon, one thing I got to work on so that it's not a 3D print. We are still going to do the smart ornament. Will be, I think, the first Home Assistant smart ornament. And so what that'll let you do is it'll be a PCB. It'll have some little LEDs on it that'll be ornaments. It'll be in the shape of a Christmas tree. It will light up. It'll have a buzzer to play Christmas tunes. It'll have an ESP device that connects to Wi-Fi. And probably a battery slot on the back. And then a USB port as well. And we're very excited to get this. We want to do them annually. We came up with the idea that we will make these trees or change the design up each year. We'll put a few of our company highlights on them to say, hey, look, this is what our company was able to accomplish this year, thanks to you guys. And then all of the profits from it, we will donate to local charities. So some type of, Christmas gifts for children, or, Christmas, clothes, something here in Lexington, hopefully here in Kentucky. We will donate all the profits from this project to that. And so it'll kind of be a yearly ornament style that you can collect or have and show off, and a good way to give back to Kentucky for, supporting our business here in the state. So, all right, we will end it on that. And yeah, we're always available in Discord. We love chatting all day, every day in Discord chat. We're always there. So we like hearing from you guys. All right. That's all I've got. Thank you all very much, and have a good night.